Let's have some fun today and talk about the difference between expensive and cheap. All right, one of the things we focus on a lot with our customers is helping them make sure their pricing is correct for them. Does it show the value that you offer for your customers or guests? When we look at the expensive versus cheap scenario, there are a lot of factors that don't always come to mind. I'm going to give you an example. I'm reading a book called .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. He does a lot with marketing and funneling, and he's one of the founders of the company ClickFunnels. And in his book, he gives an example that he was doing a presentation for a bunch of hotshots. And he had his new iPhone with him. And he asked at the beginning, how many people would be willing to pay $100,000 for my iPhone? Not one hand went up in the crowd. That sounds expensive, right? I'm sure it does. You'll consider in your head, well, I can go buy my own iPhone for far less than that. What would make his so special? Well, then he went on to describe the value opportunity he was selling. And what he was selling was all the contents of his phone. And there were a lot of courses, books, ideas, things like that on there. There was also his contact list. All of the contacts of big giant companies that would be worth a lot of money to another business owner who might be able to sell to those people and have their personal cell phone numbers. That's worth a lot. So at the end of the day, to shorten up that story, he asked again after he had described the full contents of his phone and really what he was selling, and asked, how many of you would be willing to pay $100,000 for my phone? Almost all the hands in the audience went up, and he scaled his price on up. He got up to $750,000, and 3 people came up on the stage that were willing to pay $750,000 for his iPhone. So that's the difference between expensive and cheap. Sometimes it's in the terminology and the information that you use to talk about your offering. Is your offering just coming to camp, having gravel or a concrete pad for somebody and a place to plug their electric in? That's cheap. Those are the people who want to pay $50, $40, $30 for a site. If we spend that and you said that you offer a relaxing weekend with a bubbling brook running in the background and a lovely swimming pool that will cool you off in the heat of summer. We frame that offering to be what it truly is, the experience, not just the product, the campsite. We offer years of family memories that you can build with your children and your grandchildren. That is way more value than just saying, I have a gravel pad and an electric pole that you can plug into and a water spigot. So frame your offering to make sure that you are truly selling the experience, not just a campsite.